Hello and welcome back to another out-of-spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. As you guys probably know by now, there are genuinely a dizzying amount of foam cannons on the market. Some claiming that they're, the best snow foam, the most amount, or the thickest, or the richest, or the whateverest. Then on the other hand, you have some very inexpensive alternatives that might just not be up to snuff. But today we're checking out the new Armour Detail Supply Drift Foam Cannon, and I'm going to tell you why this is probably one of my new favorites. So welcome back to the channel and let's jump into it. Before we jump into today's video, you guys should know up front, Armour Detail Supply did send this to me completely for free. They did not ask me to make a review, nor are they paying me to make a review. You guys should know at this point by now, I will tell you whether something is great, whether something's crap, whether you should purchase it, or whether you should avoid it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we get into filling this thing up with soap and snow foaming down a car, I want to do a little bit deeper dive here on the overall form factor of their foam cannon, talk about some of the decisions they made, what comes in the box, the price point, all of the fun stuff in between. So this to me retails at a phenomenal price, $44.99. If you're watching this during the end of November Black Friday deals, Armour Detail Supply is doing a site-wide Black Friday deal. You can pick one of these up for $31.49, which is an insane value. So I do have an affiliate link linked in the description below. If you want to use that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Help support the channel so I can purchase more products to basically make more content for you guys. So would appreciate it if you would use that if you're so inclined to do so. Now, what comes in the box? Well, first off, of course, you get a foam cannon. No surprise there. You get your Armour Detail Supply box. What first comes in your little baggie of tools is a 1/4 inch quick disconnect with an O-ring. This is a 16mm wrench on here to put it on. It comes with a pre-installed 1.25mm orifice. In your little extra supply bag over here, you also get a 1.1. So if you have a lower flow pressure washer, lower GPM pressure washer, probably going to want to switch to the 1.1 there. It also comes with a new stainless steel filter in here, so probably after a couple of years of use you would want to swap that out. And it also comes with a new O-ring, which essentially sits between the bottle and the actual head of this unit. Now, this unit is not a ground up foam cannon from ADS. This is actually a foam cannon that was on the market before, known as the NYX Pro SV2, and they essentially went to the supplier or manufacturer of NYX and said, hey, we'd like to basically produce your foam cannon with some minor tweaks to it, our colors, change out the bottle on here, do stainless steel, do a vented cap on here, and make it our own. The reason they did that, instead of spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and making the price point probably to what my favorite foam cannon on the market is, the MTM PF22 wide mouth, this is $90 retail, they came in somewhere quite a bit less, and it still has some great form factors, great functionality. Now, I believe the NYX Pro SV2, terrible name on that, is heavily based towards the MTM PF22 over here, and you can see that by how the bottle is the same kind of grayscale colored bottle on here. The head design is very similar, but there's a lot of things I'm really impressed with the Drift foam cannon here. Quickly want to touch on the material of this. So the entire head on the ADS unit, just like the MTM PF22, is nickel plated brass. Now you will have some other stainless fittings on here, like your 1/4 inch quick disconnect, as well as your mesh filter inside, just like the MTM PF22. The active foam cannons, as well as the Griots and some other ones out there, do use full stainless for the maximum corrosion resistance. Those are way better materials for sure, but I've never had an issue with the MTM using nickel plated brass, so I see no issue here with the ADS being nickel plated brass instead of stainless or just completely brass, which I think this is a great in between, especially coming in at the price point. So number one thing I like to have with foam cannons is a quick disconnect head on it. So I don't want to deal with any sort of threads, nor do I want to deal with foam cannon. I can't purchase separate bottles. This is the same as the PF22. You can actually purchase extra bottles of these. Now, importantly, they do need to come with caps, or they need to produce caps. I know that's a big expense for the ADS guys to do, but essentially the rationale and reason being here is if you are doing, a multi-step different alkaline pH neutral, acid washes. It's nice to have all those set up, quick connect them on, and then if you want to store them, have a cap for here. I'm a little crazy. I just buy multiple foam cannons. I actually have 3 PF22s, and I use one for alkaline, one for pH neutral, one for acid, and it works out very well for me. If I were to switch over to these, I would purchase 2 more of the Drift foam cannons and be good to go. First off, let's talk about the bottle here. So nice wide base on it, and importantly, doesn't rock that much at all. I'm very used to this with the MTMs over here. So if I set this down, you'll notice that this has a lot of movement in it, and that's something they wanted to avoid here. Now this over here on the PF22 is an HDPE plastic, and I'll tell you, their manufacturing on these bottles are genuinely terrible. That's my worst issue with the MTM stuff. You'll see all sorts of fraying up here on kind of the locks. I've had a bunch of these bottles that have been kind of oblong and won't fit into the actual head of the foam cannon here, which is really annoying. The only negative I have here with the ADS one is the wide mouth is not wide mouth enough. This is a proper wide mouth, huge opening there, very easy to get your solution in there, even your dip tube in there. It works very, very well. Now, the quick disconnect on here, not quite as nice as the ADS, but one thing I've found here with this silicone drip tube or drop tube, whatever you call this tube, it's a little tricky to get in there sometimes just because it's flexible and the opening is smaller. Now the functionality here is really, really nice. You can see it's got a twist and then a nice click on there. So now it's locked on there. Really, really like that. The tube in here is perfectly cut to the right length. So you can see as I move this around, you are always going to pick up solution there. I very, very much like that. So big fan of the bottle here, just wish the mouth was slightly wider. Also on the side here, you have different measurements. So you've got 100 milliliters up to 800. Importantly, they didn't put it up to 1,000. This is a 1,000 milliliter canister. In this kind of recess or valley, if you will, this is your 900 milliliters, and up at the ridge here is 1,000 milliliters. I very much like that this is see-through. You can clearly see your solution. I personally don't really mix directly into these. I'll typically have some beakers on the side, fill those up, mix them together so it's not that big of an issue. So dip tube here, made out of silicone and has a weighted stainless steel ball at the end with a filter. This is not complete stainless. It's got this little plastic or kind of O-ring type material in there. I'll get some close-up shots for you guys, but feels very nice. Clicks onto the head very, very simply. This is where that O-ring is up top. Feels very good. Importantly, this also has a vented head on it, meaning that unlike the PF22, when you flip this upside down, you don't have soap and solution coming directly out. These are the vents that bring air in to actually suck out the foam to go into your foam cannon, but does not let water come out when tipped upside down, which is very, very nice. Now you'll see over here the PF22 and the ADS foam cannon have a very similar head design, and again, very, very similar from the NYX Pro SV2, whatever the heck that thing is. And yeah, most of the same functionality here. So up here you have your regulator for the amount of foam. The PF22 feels pretty nice. I just leave that thing fully cranked. This has some detents on it. Great. I don't really care because I just leave them full open. I'm not sure who is lessening that. Just put less solution in your bottle. I'm not sure why you would ever really want that. But here's a big thing for me. So not only do I like the quick disconnect style over here, the bottle feels better put together. You can see way less wobbly here. I mean, this thing just kind of rocks on its axis there, but it's the actual head here. So you can go vertical or horizontal foam, which is pretty darn nice. I always use it in straight vertical. Same thing over here on the PF22. That's great. But what you'll notice here is your fan. And this is my one issue with the PF22. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have a few issues with these, so maybe I should just completely switch over to these, but it's this looseness, I guess, is the best way. So it's a little tight there, and then this just kind of moves all the time. Over here, you have a very, very nice gradular, very robust feeling design in here to be able to change the pitch of your foam. Man, really, really impressed by that. So overall, man, I think this is just a phenomenal design. And again, just simple things like this, putting the O-ring on this instead of having to do Teflon tape, cranking it down, it's eventually going to leak. This is just such a much smarter design here. Then you tighten that up, you never have to worry about it leaking. You can always change that O-ring if you need to, and you're pretty much good to go there. So, man, overall for 45 bucks, even cheaper on Black Friday, I think this is an absolute steal. So, now that we know what this thing's like, let's go see what kind of snow foam it can produce. For test today with the Armour Detail Supply Drift Foam Cannon, we're going to be pairing that with the Krenzla K1322 TS. Understand that your pressure washer can affect how your foam cannon works, so can your orifice size. So understand that it's all kind of this big math equation to get dialed in. So it may take some playing. Maybe you need to bump down to that 1.1, maybe that 1.25 millimeter orifice that comes pre-installed is exactly dialed, but just understand you'll need to play around with that. So I've got my PF22 over here already pre-mixed with my Meguiar Shampoo Plus, how I traditionally use it here at the shop. We're also going to be trying out ADS's Shampoo Plus as well. So we'll grab another foam cannon here so we can kind of mix and match as well. We're going to be using the ADS at a 1 ounce per 500 milliliters. So typically they call between 1 to 3 ounces in their foam cannon with Shampoo Plus. So we're going to do it right smack dab in the middle. So only using 1 ounce per that 500 milliliters. So we can get this mixed up in here, and then we can dispense it right into our actual foam cannon, and we should be good to go. Also really like their soap, how liquidy it is, really mixes well. This is not super warm water here. So we'll get this poured in, and then after we do a panel on this, I can quickly swap it over to the MTM here, just dump it in there. Don't want you guys to think I'm mixing dilutions or anything like that. So good to go there. Love the quick disconnects. Boom, good to go. Let's get foaming down the car. Well guys, it's always smart to, when you're filming a YouTube video, press record. So just foam down the door and realize wasn't recording. But we've got our Drift Foam Cannon here mixed with our ADS Shampoo Plus. We've got the soap mixture all the way up. Should be good to go. And then I've also just put half of this in the MTM. So let's foam this down, check out the foam. As you can see, some really nice foam. Let's disconnect that. Now we'll move over to the MTM here. Interesting noise distinction between both of them. The ADS has kind of like a, I don't know, like a hiss to it, if you will, but as you can see, some great snow foam between both of these two. And again, just showcases how much I really like the PF22, and yeah, the ADS here, really nice. So pretty awesome snow foam on there, to say the least. Really liking that. So I don't really see too much of a difference here. They both have that nice kind of shaving cream style. You can see the dual layer surfactants working here on the ADS. You can really see it down here, the Shampoo Plus. So that's looking pretty good. Honestly, no big differences there I'm seeing for double the price of the PF22. And that's something I want you guys to remember is, you know, these foam cannons, a lot of folks are telling you, you got to spend X amount of dollars to get foam when, you know, even for a fraction of the cost here, you know, the ADS is not the cheapest one on the market, but that's some incredible snow foam out of a $45 unit there. All right, Meguiar Shampoo Plus in the ADS foam cannon first on the passenger side. Just FYI, by the way, I am using this at a pretty aggressive concentration on here. I believe this is 5:1 I'm using it. So going through a lot of snow foam on here, but yeah, it gives really nice, rich, thick snow foam. And yeah, you can really tell how great that looks. So let's go over here to the PF22. Should probably adjust that. Yeah, I see little to zero difference at all. Honestly, if I had headphones in, other than the noise, I couldn't tell any sort of difference what this actually looks like. You still have really nice thick snow foam over here, still have it over here on this side as well, using the same snow foam. Pretty darn impressive to me, folks. I think you're gonna know which one I would tell you to pick because, yeah, really no difference in between there whatsoever. All right, guys, let's give you my final thoughts here on the Armour Detail Supply Drift Foam Cannon. Genuinely, overall, completely and absolutely blown away with it. I think they absolutely nailed this product, especially considering the price point. And again, we can't give all credit to Armour Detail Supply. This is based on a previous foam cannon, but some of the changes they did to this really make it more intriguing for me. And it's a really, really nice foam cannon that I was honestly not expecting to 100% love, and it really genuinely blew me out of the water. Now, there's a couple points of feedback I would give the guys. Again, want to re-emphasize the point, I don't think that the wide mouth is wide enough on here. Now, I understand that would cause some complications for them, probably have to do some remolding on here, which costs money, which makes the price point go up. I understand that, but maybe in the future as they gain a little bit more traction, a little bit more funds, that could be a good idea to make that a little bit wider, because coming from the MTM PF22 wide mouth, it just feels like you have no room to work with there. Can be a little annoying with the silicone tube that is very swingy, if you will, compared to the MTM, and can just be annoying to get in there sometimes. It's not a knock on it, but just wanted to give that feedback. I also think it would be really, really nice to see caps with these so that we can do that. Again, I know MTM actually makes these, but they are made in the worst way possible. It's not the big outer ring here. You physically have to unscrew the unit, then put the cap on it. It's absolutely annoying, really, really frustrating. There's a lot of things on this that I really prefer over my MTM and am really, really impressed with. So will be some consideration, some more consideration here at the shop. The last point I want to give on some constructive feedback on this would be consider the coloration you are doing this, or importantly, the amount of color you're doing. I still think the MTM is one of the best looking foam cannons. It goes with every setup. I know a lot of you are going to flame me in the comments for how a foam cannon looks, but it's something I consider when you're spending thousands of dollars to do a wall mounted pressure washer setup like this. And when customers come into the shop, it's something I want to look industrial and look very, very professional. That is something I think both of these, both the Active and the MTM, really do well. The Active still showcases their color, but a light color pop. Then you come down here, it's pretty in your face, and green probably is not going to go with a lot of people's setup, especially if you're kind of in the obsessed garage hole type of situation here. So something to consider, not something that 100% needs to change, but just something to think about. So again, I think if you guys are in the market for a foam cannon, there is really not much out there that is going to beat this. Again, even the Active here, really nice foam cannon, but it's threaded here. This does not even sort of feel as nice as the fan allotment on here. And again, super loosey-goosey. There's a lot of stuff, man, I'm just blown away with. Also quickly want to note, you can flip this upside down, does not drip out. That's really, really impressive. And also, that is just the best quick disconnect in the market, bar none. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another one soon. Bye-bye.